Lui, c'est Jeremy Allen White. Vous le connaissez pour The Bear, et il est aujourd'hui à l'affiche de Iron Claw, réalisé par Sean Durkin, un biopic sur une célèbre famille de catcheurs. Il a mangé beaucoup de flocons d'avoine et il a pris 17 kilos de muscles. Il nous raconte comment il s'est transformé en lutteur professionnel.
Our first conversation, because of our sort of history, was really brief. He was just kind of like, I want you to do this. And I said, anything you're doing, I'm up for. And he asked me to watch an episode of this series, The Dark Side of the Ring, which are all sorts of stories about professional wrestling. But there was one episode in particular that focused on the Von Erichs. And so I watched that. And then we spoke a little bit about the physical stuff. You know, I looked at Kerry Von Erich, who I was meant to play, and I said, that guy's really big. Are you sure you want me to do that? I don't know if I can act that big. And Sean said, you know, the physical stuff isn't as important. You know, I want you to be athletic and I want you to be able to perform as much of your own sort of stunt work as you can within the ring, but don't worry too much about like matching the physique. I want you to try and understand the spirit of Kerry and also the rest of the brothers, I guess. I had a couple months to prepare physically before we all went to Baton Rouge, and I was really just, I mean, trying to put on size. I wasn't as concerned with kind of like aesthetic or anything like that. I just really wanted to try to get bigger. I was eating larger quantities and more frequently, but all very basic stuff like oatmeal and chicken and rice and veggies and fish and stuff like that. But it was really the quantity that changed, and how frequently I would be eating. And then the training aspect. I like to exercise in my life, but it's more like cardio stuff, body weight stuff. So it was my first time really like lifting weights and stuff like that. And so I just tried to do that every day, sometimes twice a day. And I relied on Zach, I think, once we got there for some guidance. He'd had some experience undergoing some physical transformations for other things. And I think that's also just like something he's really interested in general. It's like kind of like nutrition and exercise and stuff like that. So he was a really great help. But mostly, yeah, just eating more and lifting heavy things was the key.
Yes, sir. I love that. Woo!
Now, we all know Kerry's my favorite, then Kev, then David, then Mike.
We did a lot of those wrestling scenes in their entirety, from start to finish, which was great because we could like build momentum. We didn't have to like play or force, you know, any like exhaustion or breathiness. I mean, we felt like we were allowed to do the real thing, and we were afforded like a certain amount of separation from the film, and the fact that we were on a film set, we were dealing with a live audience who were all cheering. The camera was often very far away, somewhere in the audience or at least outside of the ring. So it felt very easy to get lost during those wrestling scenes. And then it felt really good when we were able to complete them. There was like also a certain amount of joy from myself and the other guys that I think was quite genuine, and that I'm sure, you know, the men themselves felt a sense of accomplishment. And I think we felt that same way because we were doing them fully the majority of the time. The relationship between the wrestler and the audience is such an important thing. And so it was really important that we had a live audience that we felt really connected to, and they were giving us so much energy all the time. I think it was really helpful overall. I was very nervous. I think I saw how many people they had brought in to watch us, and then, you know, they would cheer so loud, and I know they were being paid to cheer, but still, it made me feel very good. What I really found similar or familiar between, I guess, Carmen and Kerry is kind of this obsession and identity. You know, the way that they're so wrapped up in their professions, and I think how much purpose they find in that, and if that's threatened, you know, what do they have left? And I think that was a question I asked myself, you know, while preparing for the Bear, and then again a question I asked myself while preparing for the Iron Claw, because obviously, you know, Kerry's career is really threatened after his accident. I had about 2-3 weeks to prepare the wrestling stuff, and I think what ended up on camera looked pretty good, and I did the majority of my own kind of work in the ring. Man, with the kitchen stuff, I spent months preparing, and still when I watch some of those cooking scenes, I'm just like, oh, you don't know what you're doing in there.
You cut vegetables like a bitch.
So yeah, I'm still trying to get better with the kitchen work. Yeah.